Hello there, and welcome to Sweet Shot of Time. I'm your host, Steve Barnes. Over here with me is my co-host, as usual. He's James McCullum from the Marshland Media Empire, and he's the Marshland Monster. Ahoy there, James.
Ahoy there. I'll be honest, when people start, I think I see a correlation. When Sean and you started calling it the Marshland Media Empire, our listenership did coincide with a dip. Maybe we stop calling it an empire, guys.
Well, what do you prefer to call it then?
I was going to say conglomerate. That's what that dude also says. Collective. Let's say that.
I like that a lot, actually. It does sound more like home yarn, homespun. Like, you know, we're Richmond, Chicago city boys here, and we are a collective. That's right.
We're not Darth Vader trying to create an empire.
Yeah, okay. I always just thought empire was like, you know, a positive thing, like, you know, a beacon to others.
Yeah.
I didn't really necessarily associate it with Darth Vader.
I do, maybe because when you work at a comic book store, most of the stuff is like Star Wars, the Empire, because that's just the stuff that seems to sell. People like oppressive media regardless of if you're currently in an oppressive society.
Yeah, especially if you're in an oppressive society, because then you can like compare and contrast how your oppression is as opposed to whatever you're watching on television. That's what I love doing.
You're like, is our current administration as bad as the White Cloaks? Let's figure it out.
I know, like
Kids in cages, you know, they both have done it.
I would love Tel'aran'rhiod as the episode we're talking about. I would love if we could get some Tel'aran'rhiod podcasting going on. That was the first thing I thought of, is like how they connect with each other. And I was like, we need to bring this into our world. But if Tel'aran'rhiod existed, I think they would get their meaty hooks on it, and somehow there'd be ads in there all over the place and trying to get us to, hate each other like they're trying to do now.
They would be even worse than the Forsaken, because the Forsaken, you know, they just want to kill you, and that's fine, whatever. But instead, they want to liken True Blood or Daywalker, I think is the name of that movie, where it's like, oh, vampires got a little too greedy, made too many people vampires, so now we just have farms of humans that are, you know, Matrix styles, just comatose, and we're just bleeding them not dry. We're like an accurate scientific bleed to just keep them docile and not moving so you can keep farming their life source.
Yeah, I guess so. This sounds unpleasant. I want to steer something towards a little bit more pleasant, James.
Yeah.
Because this is what I had planned for the top of this episode was, I guess I should back up a little bit. The Marshland Media Collective. There is an old podcast, I think one of the original podcasts, that's going to be coming back for some of us Patreon members, and it's called Who is Hotter?
Hashtag Who is Hotter.
Excuse me? Hashtag Who is Hotter. Excuse me. So I listened to a couple of these episodes, and just as it sounds, you know, you can determine who is hotter. Hashtag Who is Hotter in different scenarios. And this podcast was put out like 11, 12 years back. Is that right?
12, because it was 2013 in April or May were the first episodes.
Yeah. So you were talking about, you know, popular figures back then. But I want to bring things up more to like, you know, 2025 standards, James. And I want to ask you right now, hashtag Who is Hotter? Are you ready to play?
Yeah. Did you write them in the style that I would write mine?
Nope.
Okay. All right. One of them better be John Hamm's penis bulger. I'm going to be very upset.
Well, I stuck to the world of Wheel of Time, James.
Okay.
So I didn't get too crazy and I didn't get too creative. This is pretty straightforward. One character versus another.
Real quick, out of the characters who have not been cast, who do you think John Hamm would play the best as?
Oh, boy.
And you can think about that throughout the entire episode, and we can get to it later.
Yeah, okay. Because, I might sit here in silence for a while thinking about that. That's a great question, because I've been watching Your Friends and Neighbors on Apple Plus, starring John Hamm. And so, like, you know, I've got a good frame of reference here, a current frame of reference. But hashtag Who is Hotter, James? First off, Bane or Chiad? Bane is the tall mommy, Chiad is the short mommy.
Well, we already decided this last week, last episode, I should say. Bane, because, you know, same name as as a villain in Batman.
That's right. I just, I wanted to start with an easy one. So that's why I rehashed that one. And of course, I think Chiad is hashtag who was hotter. Hashtag who was hotter, Nynaeve or Egwene?
Nynaeve, I guess. No, Egwene. Yeah, let's go Egwene.
Agreed.
Her haircut right now is looking pretty cool.
100%
but you want to
agreed,
know what, based
Egwene,
on
yes.
just looks alone? If we,
This is looks alone. Hashtag who is hotter, James?
Nynaeve.
Alrighty, I'm still
Also,
sticking
as
with
a
Egwene.
Power Ranger, what am I doing? Hashtag who is hotter? The Pink Ranger, Nynaeve, or someone I don't know named Egwene? You were going Pink Ranger, or maybe she was the White Ranger in that one. There was a White Ranger with pink, little trim, and then the White Ranger with pink trim, so I don't know who is who.
Well, this will be easier for you. Hashtag who is hotter, Rand or Matt?
Hashtag who is hotter, the new Kara Karn, aka Dragon Reborn Ran, or that body swapping hunk horn blowing Matt. I want my horn blown, guys.
I'm with James, hornblower. Hashtag who is hotter, Elaine or Avienda?
Hashtag who is hotter, real quick. Who are those people? I've had an exhausted weekend.
Elaine is Egwene's best friend with the red hair, and Avienda is the Aiel who has
Who's
to
with
teach
Rand right now, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Hashtag who is hot. This is me just freeballing doing the thing.
Yeah, I love it.
Hashtag who is hotter. Mommy Princess. You have to say the name. I don't remember it.
Elaine.
Or cut your throat with a maiden's kiss.
Avienda.
I guess, I don't want my throat cut, so we're going with the princess, mommy.
All right, I'm with you 100%. Next up is Lanfear or Fael. Fael is Perrin's new girlfriend.
Hashtag who is hotter? Mistress of my nightmares. What's her name again?
Lanfear.
Lanfear, that's that one I know. And who's the second one?
Fael.
Or nightmare of my Achilles tendon.
Fael.
I'm going Fael.
I'm going Fael too. I want to say Lanfear because she's more age appropriate for me, but Fael has won me over this episode 5. Next up, we have Elydia, who is the red, who is deep throated and trying to one up Swan, or Swan herself.
Hashtag who is hotter? Obvious home for a brainworm.
Elydia.
Because she sounds kind of like RFK.
Mm-hmm.
Or Amaretto Seat herself, Swan. I'm going Swan because she seems nicer.
Easy. Me too. I'm definitely Swan. Team Swan. I don't know how many more. I have a bunch more of these, and I'm having fun. I don't know how much more you want to do.
Also, guys, I know RFK doesn't speak that way because of the brainworm. It's another condition.
However we can insult RFK Jr., we're going to do it. Next up, I've got Lan, who you know who Lan is, or Maxim, who's Alana's warder.
Hashtag who is hotter? King of a fallen kingdom. I'm falling to my knees just thinking about him, Lan. Or 1/3 of a fallen thruple. I'm falling to my knees to reconnect that thruple. Maskin. What's it? Maxin. Maxim. I get Lan.
I got Lan as well.
Okay.
I'm putting a lot of pressure on you here. I hope you're okay with this.
I'm fine with it. The main pressure is how long am I going to be editing this episode?
Just take out the silence.
Let's do one more.
Okay, one more. Let me get a good one here, or at least one that I wanted the answer to. Oh, here's a good. It's new characters. Let's see who you like here. We got Bear, who is like the wise one with the gray hair, or Mullane, who's the wise one with the pale blue eyes.
Hashtag who is hotter? That one or that one? Either way, James doesn't remember it. So when in doubt, John Hamm's penis bulge.
John Hamm's penis bulge is always hotter. Well, thanks for playing along, James.
Real quick, I'm positive in one of the episodes that everyone was waiting for John. 12 people who listened were always waiting. When's John Hamm's penis bulge? And I'm positive on one of them I said, and finally, this person or this person. Neither. Because when in doubt, choose John Hamm's penis bulge.
Well, I figured out who John Hamm's penis bulge would be perfect to play in the Wheel of Time universe. And a character we haven't cast yet, that would be Luz Tel'aran'rhiod himself, the original Rand Al'Thir, Dragon Reborn, or the original dragon. So I'm going to say Luz Theron.
Hell yeah, dude.
Because, I mean, the original Luz was supposed to be slightly hotter than Rand, but crazier. So I think John Hamm can go crazier.
Okay, and fingers crossed that this Luz Theron guy wears, tight, loose-fitting pants.
Or
tight,
at least gray jogging pants.
Yes, that too. Because, okay, just so everyone knows, during 2013, maybe 2012, a big thing were paparazzi taking pictures of John Hamm while jogging, and he had a unit attached to him. So that was every single episode. I would usually I think the same exact photo I would flash on screen and then just like sometimes zoom into it because it's that John Hamm penis bulge.
Yeah, and just because we're talking about that, I have to shout out Justin Theroux's penis bulge as well, because it's the same situation where paparazzi would follow him around when he was filming The Leftovers. Around that era, he was around town a lot, and he was in his gray jogging shorts a lot. And like John Hamm, they had one thing in common, and I think you know what this is.
Great acting skills.
Absolutely.
Acting like they're humble enough to not have a big penis.
Well, James, what are you proposing? That's my favorite line, like that keeps getting said over and over again. Do you recognize this line from like the previously on for Wheel of Time? We have a character that goes, "What are you proposing?"
No, I skip that shit, dude.
Oh, you don't? Oh, I thought you were a previously on guy. I always watch them because usually whatever they show you on the previously on is going to directly get dealt with in that episode. So I think it's always handy to watch them.
Yeah, but then sometimes it's spoilery. Like in that episode of, there's an episode of Dexter where like it's showing a bunch of a cop who had already died. And it's like, okay, well, clearly he's coming back in this episode as some flashback or Jedi Force ghost thing. So sometimes I don't like knowing it.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I think in a show that has a lot of characters and a lot of plot lines that you're not exactly 100% on board with, I think that is when it can be the most handy, I believe.
For Lucha Underground, I will usually watch them because those, sometimes it's from 6 weeks ago, like, oh yeah, hey guys, we just did this huge long tournament that was 6+ weeks. We need to refresh your memory on some of these feuds that have been going on. Those are times that I will, but also Wheel of Time's an hour plus long, so I gotta skip when I can.
And plus, you know that you have me that's going to describe the scenes and ask you if you have any questions afterwards. So I guess you're at an unfair advantage here.
Yeah.
So yeah, this scene we start out with this episode is Moraine in the desert with her soccer man, is what I call it. And she's practicing using this thing. What she does is she starts to channel, and then it like kind of enhances her power. And not obviously, you can see how this thing can be used to create things. Like she's using it just to test her power, see what she can do. But you could literally like move earth, move mountains with this thing, build things with it. If the Aes Sedai existed in our world, we would probably assume that it was them that built the pyramids using something like this. And, Lan comes up afterwards because she's exhausted, and he describes it as euphoric and almost describes it as like an upset, like a deep hunger or thirst. Yeah. So any questions about this scene or any comments there, James?
She's going kooky for that Dongreal.
Kooky? What do you mean?
She was like, oh yeah, this is a great Dongreal.
Oh yeah, she was. Yeah, it was like she lost control of herself. It was, I don't want to say climactic, but
like how you go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?
I mean, I've always been a little more reserved. I like to try to keep my emotions kind of dry. When I get really excited about food, I don't like to show it too much because I don't want anybody to know that I'm that excited.
Hold on. Get some Cocoa Puffs. If you got it dry, you should throw some milk on there. Maybe you'll finally go cuckoo for it.
No. The milk, dairy. I can't do the dairy thing. So I eat dry cereal. So maybe that's why I'm not going cuckoo.
Well, how about you put some soy milk on there, you little soy boy?
Everybody knows soy milk is terrible. It's no good.
Not if it's soaked
okay for
in
coffee.
chocolate, like it's good.
I don't know. Coffee is okay for soy milk, but like for a bowl of, I've tried it, James. It's not a good thing.
Ooh, what about this? We take a coffee maker. You put just soy milk instead of water in there and let it boil and then make the coffee. That might taste like shit.
It might, and it might also like ruin or make all kinds of mold and crap grow inside your coffee maker that wasn't there before because you're supposed to only put water in there.
You rinse it out. On GMM, they tried a bunch of stuff. They were like, can we cook meat using a coffee maker? And I believe they could.
I've thought about that. I've switched over to a dry herb vape is how I consume the marijuana now. Instead of like combusting it, you use the dry herb, which I'm not sure of how it burns, but it's like a little convectional oven inside there. And it gets to 450 degrees and you put like a little tiny bit of pot in there and it cooks it at 450 and then it turns it into vape and then you vape it. And I've always wondered, could I take like a little piece of like a French fry or something and put it in there for like 10 minutes because that's how long you put your pot in there, for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Would I be able to cook a little tiny French fry in there, you think?
Yeah, but as you were saying, I think that has more of an opportunity for it to have bad side effects in breaking the machine, or just like, oh, you shouldn't be huffing this into your lungs after just putting a French. No. What I'm saying is unless you thoroughly clean it, you're going to be huffing when you eventually put weed in there, some sort of, French fry smoke.
Right. I was going to insist I'm eating this French fry, not smoking it. But you're right.
But you'll eventually be smoking that French fry.
All I got to do is clean the filter afterwards. Bam.
Okay, all right.
Done. So I might give that a shot. I mean, maybe we should film this for, what did you call it? MRR? What is this?
MRR?
I don't know. You threw a bunch of letters at me and you said like these people with letters cooked something a specific way. And that's what made me think about it.
Good Mythical Morning. Rhett and Link. Your kids never watched Rhett and Link?
I suppose not. I mean, maybe they did when I wasn't around and they hid it from me. Yeah. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Is it the kind of thing that you're ashamed of to watch?
No, I'm pretty open about it.
Okay.
A kid shouldn't be ashamed of it. I think, a 33-year-old man in some instances should.
Okay. All right. It's like that. Okay. But I've never heard of it, and I'm interested in this French fry topic. But yeah, I'm going to get us back on track. We're arriving in Cold Rock's Hold. That's what this little area is called. And as we're walking here, the wise ones are telling Egwene how they meet with the other wise ones in their dreams. They're basically putting out like a group chat to all the other wise ones out there in the world saying, this guy's the Caracorn, come meet us over at All Care Dal, I think is what they call their area. I'm not sure of pronunciations, but All Cara Dal is where they're all going to meet up, and Rand's going to proclaim himself there.
Oh,
and we're hoping they don't reject him like the Shidal Aiel rejected him. Cooladon and Savannah said thumbs down to Rand. Can you believe that?
But that's before he had the 2 tattoos. Now they can see, as the kid was like, whoa, you got them 2 tattoos? I know you're the Caracarn.
Oh, there's not a scene of this, but they talk about this in this scene when they're walking through and they're entering Cold Rock's Hold. Everybody's going, ooh-wee. They're telling Egwene and Avienda that, Savannah and Cooladon rejected Rand as the Caracarn when he came out. Oh. Remember when he went in there and there was those 2 assholes that were around?
I thought that was them. Hey, remember when they rejected him before he went in?
They rejected him afterwards, too. They didn't believe those 2 things.
Dang. Then they're stupid.
Well, they're saying he's a fake and that he used his Aes Sedai magic to make those fake tattoos and that he's being a poser. That's what they're saying.
Oh.
So he has to convince everybody at this place, all Care Dow, that he is indeed who he says he is. So right now, like, Ruark believes him because we hear him going around telling his granddaughter that Rand is the Karn. So, you know, these people that are with him definitely believe him, but he's got to convince all their neighbors and everybody else. There's like, I think, either 9 or 10 other Aes Sedai cultures out there that are going to come around and meet up and decide whether or not he's legit.
Oh, so there are more. It's not just the White Tower that are Aes Sedai?
Correct. Like in this episode, we see last episode, we saw that the wise ones can channel. So they're doing their thing. And in this episode, we later on see those boat ladies, the sea folk, they can channel too.
But I would call them channelers, not Aes Sedai.
Right. And the Aiel are channelers as well. They're not Aes Sedai.
Okay, because when you said other Aes Sedai communities, I just thought like, yes, the White Tower is the main one, but like in other parts of the world, there's other Aes Sedai.
I misspoke. I meant Aiel. They're going to have a group chat with all the other Aiel cultures. I probably said the wrong thing, which is, it happens when you're talking about this show. Where was I at? Yeah, I was trying to say earlier that they tell Egwene about Tel'aran'rhiod and how you can meet up with other people in your dreams. Wouldn't that be perfect if we could, like, while we're sleeping, we could be doing this? We could record these podcasts. That would save us so much time that we could meet, and we could meet up in person too. We wouldn't just be meeting up like this. You and I could go to sleep and then we could meet up anywhere, like your place, my place, the Mariana Trench, under the ocean, anywhere.
I don't want to be there. That's terrifying.
It's only terrifying if you make it terrifying. You control the dream. You and I would be controlling this. So we could make it as unterrifying as we wish.
So the Mariana Trench in this dream would be just like the Grand Canyon. It's above the ocean.
Absolutely. We could breathe under there. We could walk around. We could use our own mind sense of gravity, so we wouldn't have to worry about floating off or anything like that because, you know, we would have gravity as we know it.
But the ocean that deep scares me. So
right, me too.
It would still be scary regardless if we can breathe down there.
It would not be scary because you could turn the lights on first off. You wouldn't have to be in the darkness.
It's still scary because it's the the vastness of the sea. Like if I'm in a field that's huge, or like if I were in the desert, I'd be like, wow, this is scary because it's just this for potentially miles and miles.
I mean, I don't know. You're kind of ruining my whole thing about wanting to meet in an epic spot to podcast. And I thought how about the top of the top of Mount Everest, perhaps? Would you want to podcast up there? That'd
be fine because then it's like a cool scenery.
Right. See, I was thinking the same thing with the Mariana Trench. It'd be like alien scenery we've never seen before. But I would meet you halfway and we would go to the Mount Everest, I guess. And in our dreams, we could make sure there's no one else there except for us. We wouldn't have that big long line of adventurers waiting to come up there too. So anyway, Rand was rejected. Avienda is tasked with teaching Rand the Aiel ways. Like that's like her new job now as a wise one. Like, what would you call this? Like an intern? She's like a wise one intern, and her first job is teaching Rand all their Aiel ways. Part of their Aiel ways is they're really into polyamorous relationships. Ruark here has a second wife. Leanne, who's the roof mistress of Cold Rock's Hold, is also his wife. And I thought this was really cute. Like, as he's like saying hi to his wife and his wife is saying hi to his other wife and they're kissing and stuff, you can see little Alcera, his granddaughter, she's like bouncing up and down like she's all excited and she's like waiting to run and say hi to her granddad. Did you notice that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, so like just in the background, you see her bouncing, and then as soon as he turns around and says, "Hey, everyone," she runs up and says, "Granddaddy, hello." Rand wants to goof off with the kids. She recognizes Rand as the Karn, but Rand's just like, "Hey, let's go goof off." As an adult, are you one to go goof off with the kids, or are you more hanging out with the adults?
It depends on the kid. Like if it's a relative, yeah. If it's a friend who I'm very close, but it's a random kid or like a kid I don't know. Like if I'm at a wedding and it's like, yeah, somehow I'm related to this kid or somehow they're a friend of a friend. I'm not going to hang out with them unless they're really cool. Like if I see them doing kick flips and whatnot,
Right.
I'm not hanging out with them. I'm observing because it's just really cool. Speaking of which, did you watch the new Casos?
Oh, no, I forgot to check it out. I forgot all about it.
Oh, dude, watch it tonight. They're so good, guys. It's a Japanese skateboarding competition / game show, and it rocks. And it's so good. These new episodes, the obstacles and the courses are so much more difficult. So every single skater, they're not competitive with each other. They're just like, screw this course. It's them against the courses, not them against each other, and it's very nice. They're like, I just want to see anyone get to the end.
Yeah, they help each other out along the way. Like they give each other pointers and stuff. And James was I haven't seen season 2 yet, but James was telling me that Leah Romero is one of the featured pro skaters on there.
Yeah.
And that's reason right there enough to watch it. I was asking about Rand goofing off with the kids because, he's showing up here and these are like, he's the car corn, he's like the big dude now. And he's with this whole brand new set of people that he's never met before. And he chooses to go run off and play with the kids. So I think that shows you a little bit about Rand. Maybe he's insecure. Maybe he's not quite ready to face the adults yet. He wants to just goof off and blow some steam off maybe.
Or just kind of connect with all the people. Whereas like he's going into this difficult thing that he knows these children are going to have a difficult time with.
Oh, sure.
So maybe it's just like, hey, I need to make sure they're okay so I can make sure everyone else is okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, more reasons to like Rand. I mean, I'm liking him more and more every episode.
Real quick to go back.
Oh, yeah.
2 wives. I know we call them ideas, but I think we should start calling them the right ideas, okay?
Okay.
Because they got 2 wives.
Yeah, well, we'll talk more about that later because we do learn some more about that from Aviendha. But right now, we're going to zoom on over to the White Tower, and Swan's just minding her own, and she gets a visit by Elida. And this whole visit, yes?
Real quick, she's sniffing a letter that I'm assuming Meringue left her.
Yeah.
Like, this is the sniffer hierarchy. It goes hair. That's the most out of like the most normal to the most creepy. Hair, panties, letters. Like smelling a letter's just weird.
Well, maybe Moraine likes to spray a little bit of perfume on there on purpose, like for that reason.
No, unless it's a unique perfume, unless you are like rubbing it under your pits to be like, yeah, this is what I smell like, opposed to this is some perfume I wear, or like rub it in your hair because hair is kind of, but it's just weird. There's no letter sniffers are the weirdest.
Well, I'm thinking now about we're like learning about these different cultures in the world of Wheel of Time, and some things that seem odd are starting to be normalized. And Perrin is starting to become a wolf brother now, and he can like see better, hear better, smell better. So maybe she's trying to track Moraine's letter, like where has she been? Where has this letter come from? Whose hands has it passed through? And then she smells the roses as Elida comes in. So that kind of, hardens the strength of my case here that she's becoming a wolf mother, maybe.
No, I think she's just being like, can I smell that pussy on this letter, brother?
Yeah, that's obviously what it is.
Yeah.
That's why she puts it away real quick when Elida comes in, because she doesn't want to get busted.
She's like, I know Elida can smell pussy from a mile away. Specifically on letters.
And Elida, I'm going to get us back on track. Elida is super critical of Swan. She only came in here to shit on Swan, basically. I think the main reason was just to show the power flex. Like, remember last week when I couldn't come in here because I didn't have an invitation? Well, now I can just stroll in here anytime and talk shit. And let's see. Oh, yeah. Some other important things about this scene is we're paying, or at least I am, paying close attention to Swan's words when Elida is talking. I'm paying attention to Elida's words too, but I'm looking for lies. And Swan's really sneaky about it because she asks, first off, where's Elaine? She says, she's well protected, a journey of my choosing. I've already let Queen Morghese know. Those are 3 true statements that can't be denied. She asks, where is Moraine? She says she's been exiled. Then she starts saying, yeah, you and Moraine are lovers. I know y'all are, et cetera, et cetera. Swan simply says, that was a long time ago. Everything Swan's saying is true. So she's doing a great job of holding off this woman.
And then she comes back and says, I know what you are and you always have been, river trash. And it's so classist. And at least when, Leandra, what was her name? Yeah. At least Leandrin would actually come with like true criticisms and be like, hey, here's what you're doing wrong. Not just some piece of shit classist statement.
Yeah. And also like Elydia kind of has a bone to pick with Swan too. It's personal with the two of them. You get the sense that they have a history. And that, I don't think Leandrin and Swan necessarily had a history with one another, each other personally. They just, it was a power struggle. With these two, it's like, it's like a sister kind of hate that goes real deep. We're still in the tower. Varen is taking care of Adeleas. Adeleas is slowly recovering a little bit here. And she, says that she would rather have some wine than this hot tea. They're visited by Leanne and Swan, and they have this little plan to, well, first off, they further explain the Black Aja hearts, which we went into great detail on that a couple episodes back. Do we need to revisit that, or are we good?
No, I think we're good. I do have a theory. What if the one with the wonky mind, what if she's just playing and she's actually Black Aja?
Okay, all right. We're going to put that one down as an excellent theory because I can't think of any reason to discount that.
Because then if she's saying things that aren't true, this is an easy way to lie and a very easy way to be in the inner circle and just sit there and listen and then be able to go back and tell everyone what's going on.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. I'm on board with this, especially after we see the end of this episode, which anybody listening is not going to be spoiled, but we have not found our 12th Black Aja member. So she's in James's radar here. All right. Well, they suspect Elydia. That's who they're suspecting. So they plan a little trap to lure Elydia to Joya and Amico to see how she responds to them. And basically, if she tries to set them free, then we know that she's Black Aja. Or if she tries to silence them, I think is the other thing, then they know that she's Black Aja as well. So little trap. I like it. Anything with them before we move on?
No, I'm good.
All right. This is when we go back to Cold Rock's hold. And Avienda is teaching Rand the table manners of the Aiel and how they like to eat. And this is a part that I thought was kind of weird that, Rand and Alcera, the little girl, they're buddies. They like each other. And she's bragging that she's the one who grew the corn and stuff. I mean, not the corn, the squash. And, Rand says, hey, it's perfect. I got the vibe that was the wrong answer. Did you?
So I was thinking those vibes as well. My guess is they don't coddle in this community opposed to the Two Rivers. It's like, no, yeah, if someone's even trying, we have to support them in any which way or just be like, yes, this is good, but you don't need the gratification from that. But it's like a kid and she's like, that's the Kara Karn. I want him to think I'm cool.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see anything wrong with it, but I got the sense that the Aiel have a specific way they do things. Like she told Rand he has to eat with his right hand. I know my wife and my daughter are both left-handed, so they eat with their left hand. So I guess Aiel would not like eating with them, I suppose.
Yeah, you gotta get punched in the arm.
Just in the arm, that's right, in a friendly way. We're not fighting yet.
You punch the left arm so you can't use it. You dead horse it, and
that's
then
right.
You have to eat with your right until you are only eating with your right.
And we'll punch that left arm until we get the point across. Avienda's making a strong case for polyamorous relationships here. From her perspective and from the Aiel perspective, it's kind of unnatural and selfish to want to keep one's love to themselves, to like to share it. So that seems like that's just part of their culture.
I loved when she said, "Oh, poor Egwene."
Oh, that's right. Yeah, maybe she's trying to hint that she wants to hang out with Rand and Egwene a little bit more.
Could be, or just Egwene.
Or just, yeah, skip the whole. That's right, because she's more into women than guys, or maybe she's into both. But what are we talking about? She's all about Elaine at this point. So she's, I don't know, just talking out of school. That's all she's doing.
Well, no, she's also can be into multiple people because that's her culture.
Right. Oh, her and Rand and Elaine and Egwene. I don't know. I think I like the way they're talking here.
Yeah, but Rand and Elaine are probably related, so let's not do that.
Yeah, this is not Game of Thrones, so we're gonna skip that. Lan and Melindra are having a little moment here. They're having some table manner talk too, and it seems like Moraine doesn't like it. Seems like she's getting jealous of this Melindra woman.
Sweet Shot of Time is brought to you by Zencastr. Zencastr is the way we record Sweet Shot of Time. We hook up with our guests via video and we record it on audio. Recently, we've been doing video podcasts with the cast of Time Bandits. It's easy using Zencastr. You can record video or audio. You can also edit your podcast or your video via Zencastr. Join Zencastr using my promo code Sweet Child of Time and you can get 30% off Zencastr. If you're ready to start your podcast, it's time to share your story. Share it with Zencastr. That promo code once again, Sweet Child of Time at Zencastr.com.
That's it for the dinner scene. Next up, we're talking about Egwene and the Wise Ones. Did you have anything else with dinner?
Well, I had a note are we just going on their storyline, or are we doing this chronologically?
I'm going right down from start to finish.
There was one thing in the Two Rivers when Maxim and the Aes Sedai.
Oh, we haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, wait, what? Then why is my notes like that?
I don't know.
All right, fine. I don't trust Steven this second because my notes are formatted one way, but I'll trust him enough as I can throw him.
I'm thinking now that I did try to format my notes. I did some fancy cutting and pasting. So there's not much I had about that Alana and Maxim scene because they were sitting at the table, they were sewing something, and they were talking about the baker and how he...
Okay, well, that's my note. She's like, oh, don't you want to stay here? I thought you had an eye on the baker. And he goes, yeah, I did. But have you tried his bread? And just like hits it on the table and it's just like conk, conk, conk.
It's a wah, wah moment. I thought that was awesome because it's like he's not just looking for a hot dude. He's looking for somebody that can actually like join their throuple and that can like actually prepare some meals for them, perhaps.
I mean, if you're looking for someone and it's like, okay, do I want a hot person or a hot person who can also cook bread? You're going to choose the hot person who can also cook bread.
And plus, there's probably a lot more prospects in Ebu Dar than there are in the Two Rivers because the Two Rivers is a pretty small population.
Yeah.
So that's why he wants to get out of there. And he's complaining about the turnips an awful lot, too. He's a turnip coat. And while we're in Two Rivers talking about that, I think at that exact same moment, Fael runs up and lets Perrin know that they have the Cothans at the White Cloak camp and they're going to go pick them up. I think this is the scene where Bane and Chayad kind of like approve of Fael here. And they're like, yeah, she's part of our gang now.
Real quick, you can spoil this for me.
Okay.
Do we see a White Cloak massacre? Do we just see them all die? At least this tribe of them, this band. I know we see a little bit in the later on, but like I want to see all of them just straight up dead at the end of this season.
Okay, sure. Right now, it's May 6th. So we're talking about episode 5, but, we're pretty far along. All the episodes have been released, and we don't even know if season 4 is going to be coming out or not. We're still on bated breath waiting for that. But we've had 2 real high points this season, which was episode 4, which we talked about last week, The Road to the Spear with Rand and Moraine's vision. And then episode 7, which James watched a little bit by accident a couple weeks back because it had already been released. And that episode is called Golden Eyes. And the entire episode is centered around Perrin and the Two Rivers and their battle with the White Cloaks.
Hell yeah.
So
okay,
the entire episode is one big battle.
All right. Heck yeah.
So yeah, we'll be seeing that in about 4 weeks. You and I will be talking about that.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to head back to Egwene talking to the Wise Ones about dream walking. They explain the world of Tel'aran'rhiod is where they go and where they can control their dreams. And Egwene asks them, well, I have dreams too. And they're like, well, that's not quite the same thing. You have your own dreams in your head. And sometimes people in the deep sleep will wander into Tel'aran'rhiod by accident, they won't know the rules and they'll die in their sleep. It's kind of a thing that can happen. But they're basically saying, like, when we're having our dreams, that's not Tel'aran'rhiod. We're just having dreams.
How I would explain that is like every dream is a room that leads into a corridor that can go to that place.
Yeah, that's the best description I can think of. That's exactly how it is. And they have this really neat, weird system that they worked out. They put like a brass pin inside of a wax candle so that when the candle gets to a certain point, the brass pin will make a noise, wake them up.
Okay, I had to know earlier on that, like, hey, if you need like candles to soothe yourself for a spell or a ritual, it's not worth it. But now that I know it's for a practical purpose, I'm completely fine with it.
Yeah. Otherwise, you might be stuck in Tel'aran'rhiod forever because, like, if you're not a practiced dream walker, like Egwene is like brand new here, she could get lost in there. Anything could happen to her. But she adapts really quickly. I'm not sure if it's presented on screen as well, but Bear and I forget the other one's name, Melaine, they're both really surprised at how quickly Egwene can succumb to the dream world, how quickly she can change her clothes. She's pretty much a master. It's like if you handed somebody a guitar and they can play guitar licks without ever having learned anything. She's already a master.
Like, whoa, he just picked it up and smoke on the water's coming out of the amp.
He can S3E5 with the best of them. So her little dream world, she sees some real creepies in there. It's like she's having like it's almost a flashback to season 1 when they were in that haunted city and those weird black things were chasing them around. Yeah. Almost looks like that.
Remember when we played that in the video game and we couldn't see a damn thing?
That's the theme with the Wheel of Time world. Everything is so dark and you have to adjust your light settings to see anything.
It wasn't too bad. I think if it were a lot brighter outside and I didn't have my curtains pulled forward, you know what I mean, it would have sucked.
I think parts of Wheel of Time are adapting this philosophy of like, let's shoot things in the dark and make it look real dark and hard to see. This episode is a lot of that too, and especially the Two Rivers. It's a dark place.
As someone who watched Game of Thrones the last season, is this as dark as that? Because that was a huge complaint, right?
Yeah, it was. There was an episode that was called The Long Night, and it was probably like the worst. It was probably far worse than anything we've seen since then because it was the first episode. It was the first episode of TV that attempted to do that type of thing. And since then, they've gotten better at it. And House of the Dragon has gotten much better at shooting those night dark scenes. Other shows do it too. And Wheel of Time, I'm not a fan of it. I wish they would just do the old school way of shooting nighttime scenes, but this is the new way for the new TVs, so we're kind of stuck with it.
I will say, I think it might have been Aqua Teen Hunger Force or some other Cartoon Network Adult Swim show. There was an episode that it was just nothing but darkness because it's like, oh, we don't have to animate the episode. We need to give the animators a break. Let's just put in like all the lights are out. We cannot see a damn thing except maybe like eyeballs open and blinking. I was going to say
the eyes.
Yeah, it might have been C-Lab. The power might have gone out on C-Lab. That also would make sense. But yeah, they're not the first to do it, but they for sure were not as effective as these comedy cartoons.
Yeah. Well, as Egwene's there in the darkness, some eyes appear, blink, blink, and I think she sees a little shot of Lanfear here. She gets woken up real quickly, and the wise ones are quick to realize, hey, this is not like a normal dream you're having, and this is not a normal person in your dream. This is like a Forsaken. This is a shadow souled, as they call them. So Egwene is starting to learn a little bit more about what's happening to her in her sleep now. We knew all along, but now Egwene's starting to get clued in.
Yeah. And as you said, I forgot to mention, they follow Freggy Krugy logic. You die in the dream, you die in real life.
That's right. Yep. I mean, maybe that's where he got his logic from. He's a guy from the Wheel of Time.
Or, I mean, I thought you were going to say Robert Jordan got it from, that's his name, right?
That is his name.
He got that logic from Freggy Krugy.
Freddy Krueger he was in the 80s. Yeah, I guess he did kind of come first canonically, so we'll give it to him.
84, I think.
Yeah, he was the original dragon. Next scene, we're back in the tower. Elydia is trying hard to get Alviren's support. That's her name. She's in white. Her name is Alviren, and the whole deal with her and with her Aja sect is that they're all about logic and truth. And so, like, you know, regardless of who or what or the situation, whatever is like the most logical choice, that's what they will choose. So you can't really bribe them. You can't convince them unless you have the facts on your side. So Elydia is trying to cozy up with her because she knows she's powerful. Oh, we check in with Adelaus to get the info. I think this is where that trap comes. And this is where Adelaus does her thing to lure Elydia to the 13th depository. And anything else to say about that? I think we've already talked that subject up, haven't we?
Yeah, and that's when I wrote down, what if she's just faking all of this?
Yeah, I really like that. I'm anxious to see how this goes. I mean, I've seen the rest of the season. I'm anxious to see like your reaction to how it goes. I like this a lot. Back at the Two Rivers. Oh, we already talked about the Two Rivers. So we're going to head over to the boat. Now we're sailing on with, what's up, James?
So this in the Two Rivers is when Chiad and Bane, that's their name?
Bane and Chiad, yeah.
They start liking the Horn Seeker because she's like, no, yeah, I'm coming. And then Perrin's like, no, you're not. You're staying here. And then she like does some fancy footwork and like ends up with a blade to his knife. Mm-hmm. And then she says, and me. And then them in the background, they say, and her, she's coming with.
They said it like in the exact same tone, exact same timbre, as if they're saying in one. And what I liked about that Fael's thing there is she had one knife to his throat. He was able to block that one pretty easily. But as he was blocking that one, she had a second one coming at him. So it's like she's sneaky like that. But yeah, the boat. We're on the boat of the I'm
on a boat and
I'm going fast and we got the sea folk. That's their names. They're the sea folk, and their deal is whenever any Aes Sedai come around, they have to stay in their cabins. They can't come above board. So that's the deal that Elaine made with them, is like, y'all can't come aboard. You got to stay in this room. So all their throwing up, all their pooping and peeing, and all their meals are all being taken in the same room. So Matt's pretty sick of it. Nynaeve's seasick. Elaine is studying up on the hills of Tanchico, trying to learn the culture to help them. And she's not really being helpful. She's just being annoying to Matt. Eventually, Matt gets his way and he muscles his way out of the room. And he learns when they come out of their room that Min also is on board because she also caught the ship. And the reason that she doesn't have to stay in the cabin is because she's not an Aes Sedai. She's just a regular traveler. So she can do whatever she wants when she's on the boat. There's no details involved.
I mean, she's not a regular. She is a seer.
Yeah, and they might actually know her because she travels around a lot. So this might not be the first time she's traveled with them. Matt wants to hook up with her instead, not hook up with her, but he'd rather go hang out in her cabin than hang out with Elaine and Nynaeve anymore. And there's more stuff that happens, but that's later on in the episode. Did you have anything before we move on to the White Cloaks?
No.
All right, White Cloaks. They're plotting against the Two Rivers, of course. They got this trap here. They got the Matt's family hoping to lure Perrin out because that's really what they want is Perrin. And we see them up in a cage there. We got Dane Bornhald here. All the White Cloaks are really clean and nice and pristine. And he's just he doesn't wash his clothes, doesn't wash his hair. He's always got a drink in his hand. And what I like about this character is that, you know, we're in the world of Wheel of Time and there's Aes Sedai and there's magic and there's White Cloaks and all this stuff. But Dane Bornhald is just a regular dude that used to be a decent guy and used to get along with people and used to just be a right thinking, normal dude that through bitterness and anger has like made him into, you know, a drunkard, an asshole. I don't know. What kind of word can you describe for him that's like a real word to describe somebody that's down on their luck? Maybe a depressive. How would you characterize Dane here?
I'd call him a little bit of a chud.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can think of words like that too, but I'm trying to think like in a nice way how I would describe him. Like to my mother, I would say he's a bit down on his luck. He
I would say his dad died, right? It was him.
Yes.
I would say grief-stricken to act on impulse.
Okay, yeah. Nothing to do with magic, nothing to do with, the most of our world. We see people like this in our world. So that's why I think he's kind of like a relatable character, somebody that used to be decent and fun, and, now this is what they've come to. And he's hanging out with a bunch of bad people too, not the right people he should be hanging out with in this time of his life.
Yeah, he needs to be hanging out with a therapist.
Yeah, he should have somebody to talk to besides Child Valda, the creepy evil guy, who I finally got a good look. Finally. It's been 3 seasons now, and I'm finally talking about this thing that he wears on his shoulder. He has the light on his side. Have you already known this? Have you already noticed the shoulder piece that Child Valda and the questioners wear?
I've noticed it. It's hard not to.
Yeah, it's hard not to. But this episode, I got a really good look at it and saw exactly what it was. And it's a sunshine. It's all the light. So they have the light on their side. And then there's a figure there that has like a third eye. And his third eye is glowing as if he's like getting mystical information. So I think that's like what the questioners kind of believe is like the light is on my side and I'm here to get information from you that only I can get from you.
All right.
I just thought it was just a big weird thing they wore just to be cool. But I think it is that, right?
Yeah.
but it, it has a purpose.
Are there female white cloaks?
Absolutely not. This is
see, guys, if you're in a group and like women don't want to join your thing, like you need to start being like, is this actually good?
Yeah, and question like, why do I want to be here with these? Not with a bunch of guys in general, but these particular guys. I can't really pick out any good ones now that Dane Bornhold's on the side that he's on. So Dane goes in there. There's a little glimmer of the old Dane where he's like giving them water and trying to be nice to them. Matt's mom is trying to scoop up his keys. That pisses him off. And then we get like a blast, like somebody in that cage knows how to channel. Matt's mom takes the heat for it, and she's like, oh, that was me. But it's pretty clear it wasn't her. It was one of the girls, one or both of the girls. So they take the mom off, and he's like, yeah, you can go ahead and question this woman all you want because she actually is a witch. This is one of these witches we hate, Child Valda. So that's where we're at. Natty's taking the blame. Yeah, and next up, I got my scenes mixed up, just like you said. They approve of Fael. They say Fael is coming. Alana definitely wants to be part of this. She wants to help. And she and Maxim had this really uncomfortable public fight. And I think anybody who's like above the age of like maybe 30 or so has been a part of this where you're with your friends who are also a couple and they're having an uncomfortable fight in front of you and you don't quite know what to do. So you're cutting eyes at your other friends like, should we interfere? And of course, the right thing to do is just say nothing and then just agree with whatever they decide. So Alana insists like, yeah, I'm helping you guys out. And Perrin's like, okay, I guess.
I'm very fortunate that I haven't experienced that since maybe I was 21 years old.
Okay. Well, like these were with your friends or like your family?
Friends and family.
Okay.
Especially friends. Like when I was 19, I went on a Florida trip, which you've probably heard about on other podcasts, where the couple that we were with, we thought they were we thought the dude in that couple was a very nice man, but no, he was very manipulative and I think broke up with her twice on the trip.
Oh, God.
Just because she wanted to like go to a different part of Universal and he wanted to go to so then he just started being a douchebag about it.
That's always awful when a couple like comes to a head like that when they're supposed to be having a good time with another couple on vacation or when they're trying to rescue, Matt's family. And when it comes up, it's real uncomfortable.
Yeah. When you're trying to kill the people who kill your sisters, maybe this isn't the time for that, guys.
All Loyal can do is help with the horses because he's not very sneaky. Thought that was kind of funny. Oh, yeah. During Alana and Maxim's spat here, a few things happen. First, Alana's yelling at him during this spat. She like screams at him, I was like, shh, Jesus Christ, keep your voice down. You're trying to sneak up on the White Cloaks. We learned that she is doing the same thing Maxim's doing. She's looking for another warder to join their throuple. And she figures that the Two Rivers is the place to do it because that's the birthplace of the Hornblower and the dragon and these Aes Sedai women. And maybe one day Golden Eyes will make a name for himself. She wants to pull somebody from that pool. They kind of have more fights about this. Maxim's like, hey, I want to go hunt down Leandrin because I'm all on this revenge kick. So that's what he decides to do. They break the bond. They part ways for the first time since we've seen them. So looks like Alana and Maxim are breaking up for the moment. Yeah, anything with these two, or did I already ruin it all?
No, that's it.
Yep. All right, Lan is talking to, we're back in Cold Rock's hold, and Lan is talking more with Melindra here. They're really chumming up a lot. He's got a new pal in her. And, they're talking about the old days and all the laughter and what they miss from Malik here. Rand and Egwene are kind of picking up this trend of breaking up, like Alana and Maxim. They're like, hey, we should do that too. We should break up also. They don't break up, but Egwene is going to go study with the wise ones. So she's going to start spending her nights there. So she and Rand can't bump uglies anymore. They can't sleep next to each other and, kiss each other goodnight. She's with the wise ones now. So a lot of unsaid words here when they leave ways. And where's Moraine at? She's out here holding the soccer man and just kind of hanging out with herself. Lan was all joking around, having fun with Melindra. Then he comes up to Moraine and he's all like, oh, I guess we got to have a serious talk now because Moraine's in a serious mood. But he does the right thing, though. He brings her some whiskey. He's all like, you know what? I know shit sucks. I know you have this heavy stuff, but you're not going to die tonight. Tonight, we're going to drink. So it seems like it's some bad vibes at the beginning, but I believe that Lan did the right thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have anything before we move back to the boat?
No, because that's my next note is revolving around this boat.
Yeah. So we're just talking with Matt and Min right here. He like half hits on her a little bit, but she's like, remember, we're just friends. Don't do that. And Matt's like, okay. But he does snatch up one of her drawings and wants to see what she's been drawing. It's him. She's been drawing Matt. And
so
one
maybe
of her
she
visions.
does like him.
That's right. He's like, see, you've been thinking about me all along. But she's been thinking about him hanging on a noose because that's her vision that she had of him. And he's now clued into this. I guess in the best visual way we can like figure it out with a TV show. Because I thought it was a little odd that she would be drawing this over and over again, but it works for the show. It works for cluing Matt into what's happening because according to Min, Matt is going to kill Rand. And now we're going to learn that Matt's going to hang himself. So Matt doesn't have a really solid future happening here.
But then he's like, hey, that's not going to happen because I never killed Rand.
Yet. That's right. Yet. Because he's still like, well, he does say that to them, like when he's joking around about it, but I'm pretty sure he's probably got some doubts in his head. But Min here is like taking Elida's advice because when she was seeing Matt hanging, she was like, oh my God, he's going to die. But what she's been doing is try to work out every detail she can find from that image. So maybe she can work some way to make it not happen. So, this is another example. And we see this with Nynaeve later, too, when she's talking to the sea folk. The sea folk are telling her there's more than one ways to be a woman. Our characters are learning from these other random people that they meet. And our characters are growing and they're making actions based on these meetings with these other random people. And I like the way we're watching them grow.
But also Matt could just be Ken Park in it,
Meaning what?
Have you seen the movie Ken Park?
No.
Okay, there's an autoerotic asphyxiation scene in it.
Say no more. All right, I get it.
It's no longer Time Bandits, guys. We can joke about autoerotic asphyxiation.
Let's see. Elaine and Nynaeve discover that the sea folks are channeling out there. That's the reason they want to keep the Aes Sedai hidden away, because they don't want them to know that they are strong channelers. Now, according to what we're hearing here, the Aes Sedai are already aware that the sea folk can channel, but they think that they're so weak that it's not going to amount to anything. So they kind of leave the sea folk alone. But the sail mistress here lets us know that, nah, we can do it pretty good. They're doing all kinds of fancy dances and waving their arms around and making the boat move super fast. And yeah, Elaine promises to keep quiet, as does Nynaeve. And the sail mistress offers Nynaeve some nice advice about being a woman on the way.
This does make the Aes Sedai seem a little douchey because they're like, oh yeah, If they can only channel a little bit, we don't need to worry about them.
I know. I thought the same thing too, because we got Queen Morghese, who's like a real weak channeler. She channels, but she's very weak. But she went ahead and went through it, and she's royalty, and she needs to do it because she wanted to be like an Aes Sedai queen. So I think this strengthens your case, James.
Yeah.
They are snooty. So Matt introduces Min to Nynaeve and Elaine, both of who already kind of know Min, but they learn exactly who she is. And she joins the gang here because she has a personal vendetta against Liandrin, and she hates the Black Aja, so they kind of have like a unified cause here. We remind ourselves about the visions that Min saw about Rand, and they arrive in Tanchico here at the next scene, and we see a hanged man at the entrance, and Min, who's a well-traveled individual, lets them know that, you got to be careful in this place, Tanchico. Keep your eye on your purse. Don't look anybody in the eye. Keep a low profile. This city is dangerous. So yeah, anything about Tanchico, James?
No, we were barely in it.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that was just kind of a passing scene, and we don't see it anymore in this episode. So yeah, that's fine. Back to the White Tower then, where the snooty Aes Sedai live.
Oh man, hate them.
Elida took Adelaus's advice, went down to the 13th Depository. Here's Joya and Amiko. So she's going in here and kills Amiko immediately, which immediately raises our hackles like, oh, maybe she is dark and she is going to go down there and kill them. But what she's doing the exact same thing that Nynaeve and Elaine were doing. She's torturing them to try to get the names of the Black Aja. We learn here that Elida is pretty much on our side. We don't like her. She sucks, but she has the exact same goals that the rest of the gang does.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's fun. When we learned this, but in the process of learning this, another gray man sneaks in down there and kills Joya right before Joya can reveal who the Black Aja is, because Joya was going to give it up.
Should have been. I noticed the gray man there. Why didn't you, lady?
Right. They made it really obvious that he was skidding around the shadows there, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, yeah, Elida should have been clued into that, because Aes Sedai usually have, like Perrin, they have really advanced hearing and sight. I think they're like wolf mothers. I think they're all wolf mothers, I think is what it is.
Wolf, baby.
All right. So, we leave that scene just Elida gets stabbed a bunch of times. Once more, we get to see an Aes Sedai get a bunch of, cutting up done to them, and then they get healed, and then they seem to be all better after that. So they can take this pain pretty well. Yeah, I hope it did that scene any justice, because it was a good scene. I don't have much else to say about it, because I'm going to move on to Alana's cloud cover.
Yeah, it rocked, but this one made me tear up.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, first off, she does the cloud cover, which is very similar to how we saw Ruidian getting built. It reminded me of that. They're there to rescue the Cothans, and we see when they're going through the White Cloaks village that they have killed many of the wolves that are nearby, and that's maybe one of the reasons that Perrin hasn't been hearing the wolves or communicating with them, is because the White Cloaks have been taking care of them. Real briefly, we meet Child Bayar. He's like the guy that Child Valda talks to, and he's like another white dude, white cloak, but he looks like his clothes are real clean. That's going to be like a new character we're probably going to be talking to more lately, Child Bayar.
Probably or for sure. I know you've seen all the episodes.
For sure. We'll be talking to Child Bayar for sure. The gang shows up and uncage the girls, and the girls tell the Aiel and Perrin that they took Natty out. She's that way. Perrin went that way to look after her, and they find her dead body. They burned her up. So Matt's mom is no more. She was burned as a witch, and a big fight ensues. Everybody's fighting. We learned that Fael is probably the best. It's like she does some expert ninja fighting, and she does the windmill thingy. She does the breakdancing thing. So I was happy to see that. Perrin and Dane square up, and Dane goes down. So no more Dane Bornhall. That's why I wanted to talk about him this episode, because we don't see him anymore. He's dead now.
Good.
Yeah. And Alana, I don't think she's dead, but she has like 1,000 arrows in her somehow. She's still crawling about. Maxim shows up to rescue her just in time. He takes an arrow as well and takes out several White Cloaks. What do you think's going to happen here with Alana? She doesn't look like she's in good shape.
There's the healers and there's still like some wisdoms there.
There's wisdoms, yeah, but no Aes Sedai. These are like 12 arrows.
Yeah, but I think wisdoms can still heal. Like Nynaeve was like she was still doing healing when she was back in the Two Rivers. I think she'll be fine. It'll be okay. But what you forgot to mention is when Maxim shows up, she's like, "How did you find me?" And he says, "You turned the bond back on 5 arrows ago," which I started tearing up. I was like, that means she turned it back on without knowing it because she's like, "Dude, I do need you." And it was so touching and sweet.
Okay, that did go past me. I didn't catch on to that at all. And I've watched this episode like 4 times. So
come on, man.
James has a more tender heart than I do. Well, I didn't tear up at all. So like I was still like looking at those arrows like, "Oh, you're a pincushion. I'm not sure about this one."
And yet you've seen all this season, and then you came back and rewatched this for this, and then you're like not tearing up from the emotional arc. You're just like, will she make it out alive?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, so
I have no idea.
She dies, right? Now you're telling me she dies or else you would have felt a sincere, touching moment with this woman and part of her throuple.
Now, if we'd gotten to the rest of my hashtag hot or not, I had Moiraine paired up against Alana, and I definitely had chose Alana as hashtag who is hotter. So I have my eye on Alana. I definitely do. And I definitely have feelings for her. So I don't know where I was going with that. Alana is hashtag who is hotter.
Oh, I'd go Meringue.
Ugh.
She's a former princess.
I mean, she's cool and all, but like up against Alana is like, I think there's no contest. But we're going to talk to Rand now. Okay, we're going to go back to Randland. We're almost at the end here. Rand is having his little dream area, and his little area of the 2 rivers overlooking the mountains. Lanfear meets up over there.
And real quick, it's important to note that him and Egwene would go to that area and talk on the mountain together.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And right now, Egwene is hanging out with the wise one, so Rand's here by himself. And here's Lanfear. And they come up and talk, and Rand talks about how he saw her in his visions in Tel'aran'rhiod, and talks about how when she was in Innskeep and how he admired her. And last episode that they were together, he didn't even want to kiss her in his dreams because he would not even think of cheating on Egwene. But now they're making out. That Rand goes for it, and we leave them as they're saying that they love each other and they're making out. So it seems like Rand has joined teams with Lanfear. That's how it seems to me, right?
Yeah, because also now that he's like has seen her entire life, he's like, well, you haven't always been a bad person. You were once good with good intentions, and then those intentions were fouled by accident, maybe. So that's probably how he's seeing it. So he's like, yeah, I get you have goodness in you, or at least you did before, so you're capable of it again.
Right. So he sees her as like, I can make you join the light side more. And she sees him and she's like, I can make you come to the dark side more. And maybe we can kind of meet in the middle somewhere, because this show is all about balance. So I see like a perfect opportunity for a balance right here with the 2 of them. The only problem is, we got Egwene to think about. So we don't want to betray her trust.
Well, also, if you meet in the middle, both of them are going to become gray men.
We don't want them to be gray men. I like them as light and dark, how they are now.
Yeah, light and dark, mash it together, becomes gray man.
Well, Moiraine is coming around to Egwene. Speaking of Egwene, she now knows Egwene has this cool trick about going to Tel'aran'rhiod, and she's like, can I hitch a ride? I got something I got to do. Can you take me over to Swan's Dream, please? Kind of demands it. Strong arms Egwene in a really manipulative, like a verbally manipulative way. So Egwene breaks her vow here. She's an oath breaker, James. Egwene's an oath breaker, breaks her vow to the wise ones, takes Moiraine, and she's barely a student herself. I think this is a pretty terrible idea.
Yeah.
But we kind of remember that Egwene is, a quick learner, and she's already a master at this world. And I believe that she's been doing this for a few nights now, every night. So it's not like she's only done it once. So Moiraine goes to Swan in this dream world. The message that she needs to give Swan is that the tower needs to bend its knee to Rand and follow Rand. And she reminds Swan, like, that's your job, is like to get the tower on Rand's side. My job was to get Rand to the tower. And we get the sense here, I get the sense here, that Swan hasn't been doing a good job. They're kind of hammering it home this episode. Like, the tower is not together. They're not exactly following you. There's questionable leadership. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. And Moraine's plead here is like, get your shit together and don't worry about me anymore. Like, we love each other, but we're done. And it's sad. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then our last scene here, I like this one a lot. This is when Egwene is like, while Moraine is doing that, while Moraine is talking to Swan, I'm bored. So I'm going to go see what my friends are doing. So she goes and checks out Nynaeve's dream. And for whatever reason, Nynaeve is dreaming about the past when she taught Egwene how to be, listen to the wind and stuff. She then goes to Elaine's dream, her new best friend, Elaine, checks out what she's doing. And Elaine wants to be a sea folk and she wants to make the ship go fast. And she wants Aviendha to come hug her. This is Elaine's dream, and it's cute. I don't understand Matt's dream. We go to Matt next, and Matt is dreaming that his sisters are hugging him and that his mom loves him. And James, I love my mom. My sister is like one of my best friends. They're not in my dreams. I don't dream about my mom and my sister. So I think Matt's kind of a little chode here, like dreaming about his mom and his sister. What do you think?
It's not just dreaming about his mom and his sister. It's being able to provide for them something that their father couldn't because, my headphones went out. So he's able to say like, hey, come to the White Tower where not only will you be protected, but you're protected because I am respected here. I'm not like what I was when you knew me in the Two Rivers.
Yeah.
So I think that is just the easiest way for him to make his family proud, at least in his mind. Whereas like, he could just be like, hey, I'm back and I have my shit together and I'm going to help our family here in the Two Rivers make it like a good living situation. So I think it's just also like he just was told, hey, you're going to end up hanged. So I think all like not only like his idea of peace and being good is being able to provide for his family and having his shit together.
I mean, that's 100% wholesome. I just don't buy it. I mean, I'm a good person and my parents and my sister have their problems and I sometimes often wish I could help them in certain ways, but I'm dreaming about sex and doing crazy snowboarding on the bottom of the Mariana Trench. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, but when you were 24 years old, did you ever have dreams with your family in them?
Yes, I was very family-based at that age because I was just becoming a father myself and my parents were helping me a lot with that. So, yeah, I might have had, all right. I'm just thinking about myself right now as a 52-year-old man and Matt's a young man. I don't know. I don't mean to poo-poo on your dreams, Matt. You're fine. James stated your case. You're good. Now let's move on to Perrin.
Now, this one I don't get at all. I'm kidding.
Well, actually, I'm kind of beside myself a little bit. I'm loving Hopper. I'm loving seeing Hopper one more time. I'm loving him at the blacksmith table. He made some sword for Matt's dream over there. So, he's making all the dream swords. But he broke up with Layla in his dream, and now he's dating Fail. And so, like, even in his dreams, like, he's like, yeah, the woman that I killed by accident, my old wife, the old apple blossom bitch, she's gone. Now I got hot Fail here. I thought that was a little odd, dude.
I don't understand Steve today. Why am I the one having to defend these people? I think that's his brain telling him like, hey, you can move on. Clearly there's some infatuation with this woman, but he's probably, and I think we've seen it like him kind of draw away from that, but his subconscious is telling him like, no, this is what you want. This is, your wife would be happy that you're finding happiness. I thought this was very touching. All of these I thought was touching. However, I knew exactly how this episode was going to end.
Well, yeah, before we get there, I mean, yeah, James, I know he put Layla to rest. He buried their wedding ring at her tree. He's finally like past Layla, and now we can move on with his life with Fail. But I still had to you're at the blacksmith forge. This is where you and Layla work together, and now she's not there anymore, even in your dreams. That's so weird. Haven't you heard about these thruples, Perrin? Haven't you heard about this new thing that the Aiel do where you can have Fail and Layla and Hopper all at the same time?
Oh, well, you can't have two of them because didn't Hopper die and Layla?
But in his dream world, he can have them all.
No.
Okay, well, the last vision that Egwene does is she's like, I'm going to go see my boyfriend at the mountains at Two Rivers, and this is going to be cool. I'm going to surprise him. This will be a fun surprise. But she catches him making out with Lanfear, and Lanfear is giving her eyes over Rand's shoulder like, I'm the soul seeker. So yeah, you said we know how this ends. Is this how you're saying how it ends?
Yeah, I was once, it's like, oh yeah, he's having this dream tonight. I'm like, oh, she's going to wind up there and be like, uh-oh. Not only is he pseudo cheating on me, but it's with a woman who keeps choking me every night.
Yep, she's putting it all. I mean, how does this feel to be Egwene at this moment? Like, first you learn that this woman is like the Forsaken. Then you go to visit your boyfriend, and there's that same woman like making out with him, and Rand's all into it. In his dream, no less. So you know it's for real.
Yeah.
And we're wrapping up this episode. We got to the very end here. So this is the end of episode 5. We only got 3 more to go this episode, this season, I mean, James. 6, 7, 8. And spoiler alert, they're all bangers from here on out. And they're all going to have this dark nighttime stuff happening. So please adjust your TVs as you watch Wheel of Time. Turn the brightness up just a hair. You might do yourself a big service by doing so. Yeah, so we're going to head out of here for this week. So until next week, us at Sweet Child of Time are going to leave you with these thoughts. Please check me out. My music is on Introvoid. I might be releasing something new by the time this episode drops. How about you, James? Anything new going on over there?
Just head over to patreon.com/MLM pod, where for $5 a month, you get exclusive content every single Friday. Steve Barnes was just recently on Literary Speedrun, where we tried speedrunning the Choose Your Own Adventure book, The Trail of Lost Time.
Yeah, come check it out. See how I did. See how many endings I got to. Quite a few. So until then, I hope everybody out there finds water and shade and shoes. Bye.
Bye.